Join me in this eternal moment as I dive deep into the collective consciousness to put out a pertinent message for this present moment. Welcome to today's energy reading. Now, today the message is going to be around unearthing the seed behind your intentions and your actions, i.e., returning to the genesis, to the origin of your creations that you see out in front of you, with the intention to rediscover a higher truth, a higher source of creativity and potential, one that urgently needs to be discovered, not only in the individual but also in the collective. We have lost touch with this higher source. We have become lost in our egoic desires, in a cyclical state of karma, where the ego on both an individual and a collective scale is self-validating itself through a self-perpetuating cycle of egoic identity founded on desire, which is founded on the urge to escape the feeling of lack, i.e. trauma, i.e. emotional distress. For most of our time as species, we operated with pagan deities, polytheism, bridging the lower and higher realms to cultivate a collective, to cultivate a holistic representation of reality, i.e. the earthly body, the earthly realm, and the cosmic realm. There was a context there within pagan ideas and rituals all over the world, thus progressing into a monotheistic state where there are one deity, but within those religions, Islam, Christianity, there was again in those times a modern representation of the earthly and cosmic realms to produce a holistic representation, to accurately represent themselves existentially within the cosmic picture. And through time, these things change. These things adapt. There is a natural element of change, of progression, of shifting of cultures and ideas and perspectives. And it is incumbent on us to re-establish that. We are in danger of, or we are being sucked into an abyss of nihilism and materialism and ego. We are chasing ego, i.e. desire, i.e. temporary, i.e. karma, in this self-perpetuating cycle where once we had that, but we also had it combined with the ritual and the ideas and the teachings of whether it was pagan that evolved into monotheistic, to now we're at a crossroads because we are struggling to identify who we are as individuals, and we are solely identifying with the ego, with the I am, with the momentary desires. You know, we're creating our lives based on moments, urges, and we're not sure, or we're not taught, or we're not highlighted the importance of understanding the source of the intention, the source of the actions that we are creating every day. We think we are those. We egoically attach ourselves to these momentary urges or desires, without ever querying what it is that is making itself known in our material world. Because what is making itself known in our material world has an origin, has a seed, was once a seed, and what we see in our material world, both as an individual and as a collective, was once a seed, and what you're seeing in the material is the physical representation of its produce. Your harvest, when it comes into the material, you are seeing the harvesting, you are experiencing the harvesting of a produce that was once a seed, i.e., the source of creation. And there are two forms of creation. There is the temporary, the karmic, the egoic, the desire-based, the one we are currently lost in, one that we are proud to be lost in. And then there's the other, the eternal, the holistic, the authentic, and the divine. And throughout time, that domain has been called God, and there's been attributed lots of rules and rituals, but these are interpretations of a divine. These are a human intent to bridge the gap between the earthly domain and the heavenly domain. And these interpretations are subject to change, to time. The tide of time incurs change. And throughout history, humanity has adapted to that change. Whereas we are in a period of complacency, we have neglected the heavenly, the cosmic realm, and we are lost in the earthly, egoic, desire-based realm. So it is up to us to re-emerge, to unearth a recurring principle throughout our species' history, which is the reconciliation between the lower and the higher realms, to re-bridge the gap that has been lost. And it's natural, it's uncomfortable, it's difficult to bridge that gap. As a species, we've been so concerned with a certain set of ideals that now seem to have run its course, and it's tough to replace what once was. But when you're faced with, at the moment, you're faced with a lack of true identity, a lack of an eternal identity. We have identity which we need in the temporary, in the physical, in the earthly, which is essential. But then there has to be this identity also with the eternal, with the divine, however you want to term it. But eternal is the most important thing to consider, because it is a combination of the temporary and the eternal. And these identities are important. And however you want to establish that, I'm not here to tell you to force on you certain rules or dictations or ideas. I think we're very much collective as a species going to have to re-establish a new form, a new idea on a recurring principle, which is the eternal principle, which is the true source of our story, of our identity, of our state. So this message really is an inspired message that I felt was important to share, as we individually and collectively navigate this terrain. And I invite you to partake in this creative process, because it is a creative process. We are in unprecedented times. Throughout our history, we, as a species, we've been organized and curtailed to a higher dimension, a higher principle, whether that has been, in our pagan ancestry and our monotheistic ancestry, and here we are today, and we don't have a higher principle. Now, I'm not sure how that's going to materialize, but I know that the void will be filled. Whether that void is filled and that higher calling or that higher principle is filled with something authentic or something that is not authentic, that is that is destructive rather than creative, time will tell. But it is up to us and to you as an individual to open ourselves up to our own connection to the eternal, and to try to come up with our own expressions that over time, through our individual expressions of this eternal concept, of this higher principle, of this connection we share to the eternal, that through individual expression, through meta-narratives of the eternal over time, through stress testing, through stress testing, there will be ultimately an agreed upon collective narrative or channel to the eternal that the collective species, collective community will be able to work towards, both physically, both mentally, spiritually, and physically. And this doesn't require, the birth of the religion, for example, in Christianity it wasn't created through, it wasn't a mass agenda. It was over time it was created through certain individuals with a certain interest, a certain calling, a certain ear to the divine, that worked towards expressing these musings, that ultimately led to the body of work that was commonly known as the Bible, and through the Christian teachings as an example. There are examples with the religion of Islam, for example, and other such ones, other such monotheistic religions. And so my point I'm trying to say here is that it will take a small group of dedicated souls to walk down this path. And it is very important that you do. It is very important that we have people who are entrepreneurs. We have people who are prudent enterprise, who work the necessary jobs that we need in our societies across the world and fulfill their roles. But this is a video to those select people who are attracted to this message right here, right now, to remind you, because you are watching this video for some reason, you are drawn to this video, to this message in this time, in this eternal moment, for some reason. And we may not see the fruits of our labor now, but if we are to start the process of expressing this connection to the divine that we all share, then through its continuation over time, through a collection of meta-narratives, a meta-narrative of a meta-expression of a singular eternal idea can be created. So this is an invitation to start your expression, to start your inquiry into this direction, because as I said, it is an area that isn't focused on or the importance hasn't been placed on it societally. So here I am to place some importance on it, because it is important, and humanity needs that balance. It needs that connection. Without it, if it's just in the higher, you know, you can't have that either. There needs to be that higher and lower connection. There needs to be that balance and that harmony. You know, if you're just in a high, you just get lost in eternal wisdom and the human mind will just lose itself completely. So that's not effective at all. You know, you need to have that balance. But at the moment we're lost in this earthly domain, sort of blind to our potential, blind to what we're connected with. And we've lost the stories, the pagan and the monotheistic ones, which is an occurrence of time through change. But that doesn't mean, but for our species history, we've always adapted, and that is what we've been called on, to those select souls, to those select individuals that are here watching this and who have that ear for that. It will be up to those small percentage, because it will be a small percentage. This isn't something that is going to be placed at the feet of the masses. It's going to be up to the small group of willing individuals that have heeded the call before and know what to do and simply need reminding because within your heart, within your spirit, you know what to do. This is a reminder of what you already know. And with that, I implore you to start today. Good luck. Until next time. Bye.